job.
Get a job. Da, 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 da. That's all I remember from that song.
What song?
The song about getting a job that was popular in the 50s. It was in a movie I watched called
was that?
Stand By Me. Sha-da-da-da, sha-da-da-da-da.
You recording it?
Yeah, we're recording. We're making loud noises on the internet.
We are always
yeah.
recording.
We kind of have internet out here.
Kind of, sort of. I was a fan of the internet until I realized that... Never mind.
I miss the 90s.
Yeah, it was a good time to be in the world, but not vegan. Because being
What?
vegan sucks.
He said vegan, Corey.
Yes, I understood what he said.
I just didn't understand any of the context.
Context is important.
Yeah, it's like
Well, if you want to understand something.
it's like when you're against text. No, that's probably not the same thing.
I think that'd be protext.
That'd be if you're for text. Pro and con are opposites, and pro means that you like it, and con means you don't like it. It's like pro text would be for text. We love text, and context would be like draw a picture.
Well,
Yeah, none
context.
of that text.
In Spanish, the word con means with.
Oh. So is it Spanish or
Looking from
is
the other
it
side
the
of
other thing?
things.
Because like I guess the pro and con is like Latin probably.
Context would be with understanding.
No, text doesn't mean understanding. It means words.
Well, let's go with words then.
I draw a picture once of words and it made sense. I don't know what we're talking about.
Do you hear that thunder?
I do hear
Sounds
something.
like a dog
That is the
tail.
dog tail wagging.
There's a dog tail. And it's going.
It is a big old hound dog.
Are we still recording from when we started earlier?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I don't know.
Like with the dream intro, or
No, we didn't do any of that.
so we stopped it?
I deleted that
Okay,
from the
good.
future. We should probably start again because all of this talk. No, it's fun. People like to know that we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We are making a podcast.
All right, one of those.
Our
are talking
podcast is
about-
called Yelling at Trees. And as is often the way we do things on this podcast, tonight we will be discussing a dream that my brother Corey has had.
Another one.
Like a vision of the future if the future were a nightmare that you had after taking a bunch of cough syrup one night.
Oh, I don't do that much. I
Yeah.
mean, it
Quite
was more
syrupy.
like melatonin, so it's all natural stuff supposedly, and not purposely drugging myself to sleep better, or purposely drugging myself to have crazy dreams that I can write down.
Burn.
Right. It's
Anyway.
like that one time that Robitussin was a thing, and then people were like, I'm going to take a bunch of cough syrup so that I have wacky doodle dreams. That's your life, but without the Robitussin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just occur naturally.
Are we allowed to say brand names? Pizza Hut, Nike,
I don't know.
Taco Bell?
I really
quite
hate it when
possibly
people
not.
sell out.
I don't understand, man. Well, Walmart anyway. Let's get on with it.
Okay, so this one I titled Vampire Infiltration.
Wait, so like people are infiltrating a group of vampires, or vampires are infiltrating a group of people?
Or you're
The first way.
Or is this one of those context things that we'll find out as we listen?
Yes.
Yes. Context means the text as it is identified by its surrounding text.
You learn
Did you
something
look
every
that
day.
up?
No, I just know things.
Indeed
Like-
you do.
Like ask me a math problem.
No.
Any math problem. Just go ahead.
Just
Yeah, do it. Go ahead. It's easy.
All right.
I refuse.
65 times 7.
That's a math problem.
Indeed.
He identified
See?
it correctly.
Identified it.
Just like that. Oh my gosh, we're so good at this.
So tell me about these umpires.
So, it starts off, I was a teenage version of myself. I know this because I was in school for some reason, like high school.
Because I couldn't stop thinking about women, and I was skinny.
I remember being skinny once.
That is
I
don't.
high
I was
school
10.
age.
I know I was skinny. I've seen pictures, but I don't remember it.
So I was a teenage version of me and also a vampire hunter.
Did you turn your neck?
All right, continue. Okay,
Yes.
now I'm interested.
So I was going out to fight them one night. Our bases, which were just houses, were across a big wooded area that I had to cross in the dark. I finally came. I was crossing the woods, I guess, by myself, it seems. Maybe I didn't write down so many
You were
details.
crossing the woods?
Yes, I was going through the woods.
Oh, like traversing.
Like-
Gotcha.
Like there were two houses and woods between them, and that's the only thing that separated our base from the vampire base.
So classic grandmother's house conundrum.
Woods.
Yes.
Was there a river? Sorry, continue.
No, I don't believe there was a river.
I don't believe in rivers either.
So they were just basically houses across the wooded area. I had to cross it in the dark because I guess that's what was happening. I was hunting vampires and it was dark, so they kind of had the upper hand, I suppose. So I finally came to the house on the other side of the woods, and it was exactly the same as my grandma's old house, which I don't think we were talking about earlier, but maybe,
The awesome one?
yes, the awesome one
In
with
a
the sunken
previous
living room.
podcast, The Nightmare on Bauman Street, we discussed
Yes, that is the same house.
that. Yeah,
Ah, so we have something to reference.
which makes sense because that house is in woods.
Indeed.
And it was amazing.
Actually, it's mostly like it's near some woods, but really in field.
That was probably the
Yeah.
coolest house I'd ever spent a great deal of time in.
Quite large.
They built that house themselves.
Had that sunken living room and the cool fire stove. Anyway, we're talking about my dream now.
The kitchen where sandwiches lived.
Yeah, and they had that, like, the island bar that wrapped the whole thing.
So great. So
And
great.
bar stools that spun
Massive
around.
kitchen.
One of the most vivid
The
memories I
biggest
have
pantry
is
ever.
of Sunshine making homemade noodles
Huh.
on that island.
Uh,
I couldn't describe
Mm.
anything about it. I just remember it happening very vividly. There was flour everywhere.
It was the best. If we ever got a bunch of money, we need to rebuild that thing
Yes,
Right.
as close to the way it was.
but we should build it with new wood because the
Uh,
old wood burned up.
Yeah.
Alright. Anyway.
Anyway.
vampires.
So I came to Grandma's old house. All the lights were off and the power was out in the whole house.
Mm.
Surprisingly, I hadn't run into a single vampire on my trip through the woods or in the house.
Was it daytime? Maybe they
It
were
was
hiding.
nighttime.
Oh gosh.
So, like, it's their time to flourish. So you'd think there would be vampires everywhere,
Do
especially
vampires
since I'm
flourish?
going to their base
Yeah,
to
yeah.
murder them.
Flourish. Okay, go ahead. It's true. It's true. Flourish.
What were we watching with that?
It was the Romanoff WandaVision.
Oh, the WandaVision.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Basically, Vision's drunk, and instead of doing a flourish during his magic act, he says flourish every time that
Like
there
he
should
memorized
be
the
a
act.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay, so anyway,
that's good.
there weren't any vampires. All the lights were out. I felt my way through the house and made it to the bathroom and locked myself in. The bathroom was down the halls right at the end of the hall
Oh, the main bathroom.
The bathroom
Yes.
that there's no escaping from.
Yes.
because I locked myself in it.
Oh God.
I don't know why, but I felt safe in there. With the door locked,
I used to feel safe in there.
I used my phone's flashlight to see what was going on, which I guess I could have used beforehand instead of feeling my way down there. Perhaps I did not want to alert the vampires in my presence.
They were
Yeah.
probably sleeping on the ceiling.
I bet you just really enjoyed
Yes.
touching all that wallpaper.
Maybe. Brings back memories. Anyway,
Ooh, wall.
so I used my flashlight to look around and see what's going on.
Of course.
I got super sleepy, so I decided to lay down in the tub and take a nap.
I'm
Like
in a
Goldilocks.
bathroom. I'm gonna take a nap now.
Yeah,
Did you just Goldilocks a vampire house?
I might have.
We'll find out
Goldilocks
if in a few minutes he enjoys some porridge.
So,
Wait,
After a
did
couple
Goldilocks
minutes
end up in a bathtub?
of sleep, I was woke
Okay.
up by a pounding on the door.
Ooh.
All the vampires had come home from hunting, maybe?
And our story turned
And
into
I was
everything.
in serious trouble. It was becoming daytime, so now I could see a little better. That doesn't make sense because that bathroom had no windows.
Yeah, science.
Anyway,
And because it's daytime, vampires would be on fire, unless it's like Twilight version.
yeah, something.
That's
Continue.
It was becoming daytime. The vampire banging on the door finally smashed it in, and it was a hunter-looking guy in like camp overalls and a hat, like he'd been hunting deer.
I thought you were a hunter-looking guy.
He probably wore a trench coat.
Were you standing in front of a mirror? It is a bathroom.
It was a pretty big mirror in there.
There was a pretty big mirror in there.
We're doing a lot of reminiscing here,
Oh gosh.
and I don't hate it. So, still being sleepy, I pretended I was passed out from some sort of drugs I had taken, which I don't take drugs, so
Right.
yeah.
My robot.
But I was acting.
acting. Flourish.
Let's go.
Yes. So there was a syringe on the sink, so it seemed like a good cover.
What?
Like a cover
Yeah.
story.
All right. Hey, look. There's a
Yeah.
heroin needle. I am on
Yeah.
drugs. All right. Continue.
So he started asking me why my skin was all warm and I smelled like a human.
I don't want to be indelicate, but do you realize you smell a bit human? By the way, if you are listening to this podcast, it is because of Anchor.fm. Anchor is a free app in the App Store for any mobile device. There's also an app on the computer and a web interface, and it lets you record your podcast right there on that device. You don't have to use like sophisticated Pro Tools or Logic or a mixer board or any of that fun stuff. You just hit a button and you talk about what you want to talk about.
I like it.
I like it too. It's really exciting because you can make a podcast and it distributes it to like 12 or 15 different podcast services all at once on their end. You don't actually have to like go submit it to iTunes or something like that.
That is super convenient.
It is super convenient. It's great. And you can do sponsorships, so you can do like little promotional commercial type stuff, and then they give you some money.
Yeah.
Which money is nice. It gets things and stuff.
Correct.
Yeah. Highlights. Free app. Easy distribution. Instantly record.
Done.
Yeah. Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
And you're not so pale as us.
Yeah. So I made up the story that new drug I had taken had those sort of side effects. Like it made you partially human for a while, which sounded crazy to me, but
Right.
he bought it.
Yeah, meth is weird.
He told me to get out of there and meet up with all the kids in the kitchen area, still being my teenage self.
And there's vampire kids in the
Yeah.
kitchen. Got it.
So there are about 7 other teenage-looking vampires in there, and the head vampire of the house came in and gave us a mission.
Was it Antonio Banderas?
So at this point,
God, I
I
hope
suppose
so.
I was kind of undercover vampire guy.
The infiltration has begun.
Yes, the infiltration. All right, so he questioned me about the drug, and after I apologized for it, and he handed me a needle for every one of it. Well, did I skip something?
Oh gosh. Corey's
He
gonna
gave
get all
us a
these poor
mission. He questioned
vampires
me
addicted to
about the
drugs.
drug. After I apologized for it, he handed me a needle for every one of us kids. It's so we can infiltrate a school or something together. So we all needed to take it at the right time on our mission.
But school's
Yay.
during the
So
day.
apparently
School
there was a
infiltration.
drug that turned us partially human for a while.
Oh gosh.
Do they
So
still bite people though?
I have no clue. So I put on my huge backpack and we
I
headed
mean, I guess if you
out
want
into
to.
the daylight.
Why was it so big?
Hunting supplies.
I don't know why. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And also we head down to the daylight with a bunch of vampire kids. So yeah,
Umbrellas.
I could
Wait,
see my.
is that because of the drug, or does sunlight just not bother them?
I don't know.
Oh god.
Like Twilight vampires.
Oh god. There's so much glitter.
The worst.
Seriously, knock that sparkling off right now.
So it was morning, daytime. I could see my surroundings now, and behind the house was the rest of the city. I recognized the woods better and got my bearings on which direction we were headed. In this group of kid vampires,
More
suddenly
bearable.
there were a couple familiar faces. A couple kids from the human side were amongst them too, and they sneakily told me they were here to get me out.
Sneakily.
Like
Oh,
rescue mission on me
alright.
being stuck in there. I don't know how they knew I needed rescuing, but yeah.
They were like,
You didn't
Corey
check
fell
in at
asleep in a
1.
bathroom. He needs rescue.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so it's like normal life. Got it.
Yeah. We needed to find a good time to slip away and not be noticed.
Sure.
I thought, though, that this would be a good opportunity to really see what kind of evil plans the vampires had brewing with these kids. It's funny because I wrote the word vamps in here a lot instead of vampires.
Yeah, typing sucks on iPhones.
I can't tell
little
if that's like a derogatory term towards the vampires,
Yeah.
like
You dirty vamps.
vampires.
Oh god.
or
Why would
something.
he say that?
That word's in the South Park.
They were like,
Yeah,
that's
it
our
is.
word. You can't use it. Yeah,
But yeah, so pretty much every instance of vampire in this, when I wrote it, is vamps.
Kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I wake up, I'm like, I'm hurrying to write on all the details and things that I can
Yeah.
find.
When you talk about humans, are you calling them like Humes or something?
No.
All right. Well, then that's just rude.
Humies.
All the Humies,
So,
which is no shorter than
I
humans.
figured this would be a good opportunity to really see what kind of evil plans the vamps had brewing with these kids. So we needed to gather intel before we snuck out.
You dirty
Kidnapping teenage
fans.
girls.
So I still had all the needles with drugs so we could analyze them or
Of course you
whatever.
do.
We made it as a group through the other side of the backwoods and into what looked like some sort of futuristic shopping mall thing. The vamp kids went straight into some restaurant altogether like they owned the place.
All right, I got to stop you. A futuristic shopping mall.
Yeah.
A thing that wasn't cool 20 years ago, but futuristic. Like,
Moving
is
sidewalks.
it better in
Like
the future, or
Back
is
to the
it?
Future style with like holographic things and
Oh,
very
so like
modern
a
and-
regular mall that people wouldn't go to, full of futuristic things,
probably
like the Sharper Image.
yes.
Okay, continue.
And yeah, they walked in like they owned the place because there was nobody there.
Because they did.
They were all smug.
Because
Like
it's a mall.
They were
There's
acting like
nobody there.
smug, spoiled rich kids and demanded that everyone leave so they could do whatever, like
Yep.
the staff and stuff. Staff started to clear people out as nicely as they could.
Listen, Orange Julius employees, get out of here.
Something seemed fishy to me, like we were about to get into something very vampire-y,
Right,
Vampire
right.
is the term that I used. Vampire-y.
Vampire-y.
And
Vampire
then I
outfit.
woke up. So that was the end of
Vampire-y.
my
Vampire.
So you didn't
vampire
get to what they were
infiltration.
doing.
No, but I had clues. Like
Scooby-Doo
the
clues.
special drug.
Wait, so is
and-
this a
they
you're
were
terrible at
sending
writing down
dreams.
your dreams, or is this a cliffhanger?
No, that was when I actually woke up.
Oh, and what happened when you woke up?
I wrote it down and probably got dressed and ready for work.
But you weren't like a real vampire, right?
No.
Okay, just
I
making sure.
wasn't.
It's like, I don't know. I go back and forth a lot of whether or not I would like to be a vampire. Because if being a vampire means that you're like a demon-possessed human, pass. But if being a vampire just means that you don't necessarily have to get old and you're super strong, sure, why not? I mean, I eat meat. That's not a whole lot different than eating blood.
Like Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I wouldn't go, like, find random people in the streets and just, like, drink their blood or something. But, you know, you can order everything nowadays.
I'm sure pig's blood is fine.
I could pay, you know, 30 or 40 people $5 a month to give me some blood and drink it out of a bag or something. That's no big deal, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you could find a way to work it out.
Like a blood bank consignment deal. I mean, I'm sure I could pay more than the blood banks pay now. You know, they're like $50 for plasma or something like that. I could give you $50 for, you know, a week's worth of blood. Sure, that's cheaper than McDonald's. And you get to live forever until someone stabs a spike through your chest or sets you on fire or something. Heck yeah.
I'd have to find a night job.
That's your big
I mean,
concern
you
there.
still have to work and live. I mean, it's not like
Yeah, but if you're super strong, you can do lots of stuff that's worth money.
at night.
Sure, you could be a night security guard. If
True.
people get rough, you just bite them. Or if you need to recruit a small army, you just bite like 50 or 60 people and teach them martial arts or something. Like if I were a vampire, I'd have taken over this country already.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the point of maybe they have.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Trump is painted orange. Like he doesn't actually know what sunlight does to skin, and he's just kind of guessing. Yeah.
Now we don't get political here on this, but conspiracy theories are awesome.
Right. No, I get political all the time, but it's all conspiracy theories because that's what's really happening. Yeah.
Behind the scenes.
It's not Democrats and Republicans slightly disagree about things.
It's
It's-
lizards.
People want to take over the world, and they're wearing human faces on their lizard faces.
lizards and vampires.
There is no way that Joe Biden is not 1,000-year-old lizard man. No way. Obviously, he identifies people by smelling them.
Mm.
That's a lizard thing. That's not a human thing.
These are the facts, people.
Lizards identify by tasting.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
that's
they do.
pretty much.
With the tongue thing.
I mean, maybe the footage that
Yeah.
we've seen is just not deep enough to see that little tongue flick thing happening.
Deep.
Yeah, I mean,
So deep.
like recognizing somebody by licking them doesn't mean that like you take your tongue and wipe it all the way across their face. You know, lizards don't do that. They go, and they know stuff.
They taste the air. Around.
Yeah.
It makes
I
sense.
don't know.
It makes sense on some level.
Here, lizard.
Yeah. And he doesn't seem to have much of an attention span, and that's a thing that I know is true about lizards because I've played with them before. They don't even know who I am. I'm like, you were just in my hand, and now you're like running like I'm gonna hurt you again. Come on,
Again.
buddy.
It's trust issues.
Lizards are
trust.
not very trusting. That's for sure.
Like, I know you're not squishing me now, but any second.
Mm.
Oh my god, get out!
Ah! Which just brings us to the point of our show where yelling at trees is normal. Ah! Get off
You're
my
not a tree, you're
lawn!
a shrub. Get out of here.
Shrubbery?
A shrubbery.
I hate you, trees. I'll praise the lizard overlords.
I am Roger the Shrubber.
I make shrubberies. We are no
Classic.
longer the knights who say knee. We are now the knights who say icky, 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 icky. Ptoing.
Something like that.
Exactly.
So good.
The one guy in the background just isn't up to par with what's going on because he's still saying knee.
Yeah.
Knee. Yeah, so, I mean, you know,
Knee to the face.
that's a wild dream. You got a couple of other dreams, like in the old tin can
Noggin.
thing, right? The noggin.
Yeah.
Like, give us, like, short 2 or 3 sentence overviews of some of these things that might be coming up soon in our podcast
Oh, I
To,
can do that.
to entice the podcast listeners that have somehow been tricked into listening to our podcast to come back and still listen more.
It's definitely not me.
Yeah, I mean, JC's never listened to a podcast that we've made. He listens to lots of podcasts, ironically. And then, why don't you listen to ours?
I didn't know you were doing them until today.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
Or
We're not the best at advertising or whatever that other thing is.
Spread the word, people.
Yeah. The rebellion begins today. I mean, sorry, what?
point and click.
I mean, feel free to listen to our podcast. We are in no way endorsed by lizard people.
So I've got about 4 dreams on deck that I've written down because we had a very long time that we were roadcaster-less. So I've had some time to write them down.
Yeah, when you put Dr. Pepper inside of electronics, they stop working. Well, I mean, they still work, but they don't work properly.
So the next one I
They work
have is called,
submarginally.
I call it
Yeah.
the Council.
Oh, gosh.
It's a space council that
Private
decides the way everything goes in the cosmos.
Catholic Church, got it. What's
Yes.
next?
Next, I called this one, oh, I'm going to have to read it because that title makes no sense. I call it, What Homework?
Yeah.
As
no,
if
I get
somebody
it.
asked me, hey, did you do your homework? And I said, what
Homework. I get it. That made perfect sense. Wait, what was it again?
I always did my homework.
What homework? I like it.
Wow, yeah, just skimming over that. There's a lot to that
I
one.
never did homework. If I had to take it home, it did not get done. I could get straight A's if I could get everything done in school, but once I leave that building, that's my time, and you're not getting any of it. I already spent 8 hours in there doing nothing.
Yeah, but they want you to spend your time on their stuff.
I don't. To the point where they got mad at me. They took away my locker, made me carry all my bags in a duffel bag, which I left at home and told them to go screw themselves. Like, I'm not carrying 150 pounds of books every day because you don't think that I care enough about school.
It's not your fault you're dyslexic.
That didn't even factor into it. When I had time to do the work in class, I got A's on everything. When I had to take it home, it went home and never came back.
Yeah.
Or it didn't go home.
Hmm.
Many times the assignments I was given, I just left there in the room.
I would often get my schoolwork done early in the classroom and just do the homework then.
Did you guys have block scheduling?
Yes.
Yeah, so an hour and a half in one class, 4 classes a day.
Yes.
If there was not time to do the work, what the hell are they doing?
Nothing right.
Like, let me lecture for 90 minutes and then give you homework. How
When I-
can a teacher deal with that?
When I was in high school, I had this English class. Everybody failed it.
Because it was English and they're not good at words.
because it was the teacher.
Yeah, I hate teachers. What?
Other people would pass this class, but nobody passed this one teacher's English class.
Oh, because the teacher didn't understand English and gave everybody the wrong grades?
Quite possibly.
Very good work. You've got a D+. What? You're at the top of your class. D+.
F for fantastic.
F for fantastic. C for wonderful. Wait, what? What? No. Yeah. All right. Whatever.
W for wunderbar.
Corey, you got one. You got one more.
Two more. The next one that's coming up. I called this the dream within because it was a dream within a dream, and then in parentheses, the end of the world.
Inception.
Yes, it was a dreamception.
Is Leo there?
Was there a spinning top?
No,
Was Ellen Page there? Did she want to be called Elliot?
no,
That happened recently. Never mind.
Was Leo there?
no.
What about that
But
Asian
But
dude?
there were
Okay, sorry, I don't remember his name.
What
Some
about
sort of-
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
some sort of alien or robot
He was
invasion,
the-
and only few of us survived.
Like the
Nice.
Terminator.
What's the next one?
And then the final one so far, which was
These are
just,
teasers. We're taking too long. to
just
talk about them.
recently. I called it Bad Decisions.
Oh yeah, like math.
It was about a robbery gone wrong, or right, depending on how you look at it, I suppose.
I usually don't.
I mean, yeah, I get it. That's great. I'm excited. I want to hear these, but not now because just because America.
Teasers.
Ah. All right, so
Maybe
that's
one more.
that's it for our Yelling at Trees podcast for today. If you want to hear some more, there are previous podcasts listed there. If you want to wait for the next one, we were trying to get them out every so often, but we do not fully understand the concept of time. So we'll talk to you soon. Maybe next Tuesday, maybe in about 20 minutes. Have a great time.